Well, the newest, biggest mega ships get the most attention from the news media and even the cruise lines. The cost of new cruise ships have made them unattainable for many of us. Don't discredit the older, smaller cruise ships. I'm currently sailing on an older ship, and this cruise truly surprised me. Hi, I'm Kristen from the bargainchasingtourist.com. I've been cruising since 2000 and I actually worked on cruise ships for 5 years. So let's check out the highlights of Royal Caribbean's Navigator of the Seas. The Navigator of the Seas currently resides in Long Beach, California year-round, which makes sailing on this ship really convenient for those of us who live in the West. While the Navigator made her debut in 2002, this ship had a $115 million refurbishment in 2019, not long before ships stopped cruising during the pandemic. The first thing that surprised me about the Navigator of the Seas is that she does not show her age. This ship is maintained very well. I'll get into the awesome upgrades in a moment, but first I want to talk about the classic features that the Navigator has preserved. My favorite aspect of older ships has to be the 3-story dining room, which the newer ships have gotten away from. The elegant chandeliers and tall ceilings are reminiscent of the classic ocean liners of the past. I also love that older ships have a promenade deck to walk laps around the ship or simply sit and enjoy the ocean views. The Navigator has the ice skating rink Studio B, which offered a really impressive ice show. The Royal Promenade is actually something I missed when I sailed the Quantum-class ships. I also like the layout and overall aesthetic of the Navigator's Windjammer more than other Royal Caribbean ships. So the selling point for me for this ship was this stateroom. This is a standard balcony stateroom, but it overlooks the wake of the ship. I know you can't see the wake right now because we're docked, but when we're sailing, we're actually at the back of the ship overlooking the wake. I have only seen suites on cruise ships overlook the wake. This 5D stateroom has an enlarged balcony with enough space for a personal sun deck. This stateroom provided really gorgeous views of the sunset and was also convenient to get to the Windjammer and the pool deck. If you're considering booking one of the staterooms at the back of the Navigator of the Seas, just something to consider. When I stand here at the edge and look over here, I can actually see into the balcony next to me and the following balcony. And when I look up, I can actually see into all the balconies above. This is not exactly a private veranda. The stateroom itself was very spacious with a large closet and extra storage space in the bathroom. The Navigator is part of the Voyager-class of ships and accommodates just under 4,000 guests at capacity. This ship honestly did not feel overcrowded, and I sailed during the summer. I never waited long for an elevator, and we even had the pools to ourselves several mornings. Speaking of which, the pool deck was one of the upgrades when the Navigator was amplified, adding the longest water slide at sea, the Blaster, which is a must. It was so much fun. I really love the island vibe that Royal Caribbean added to this deck with the bright accents and tropical beach cabanas, and of course, the 3-story pool bar, the lime and the coconut. This was my first cruise as Diamond class, and the free pool drinks were really yummy. There's another really fun, kitschy element on the Navigator that can't go unmentioned, and that's a tiki bar called the Bamboo Room. This is such a cute hangout spot full of retro Hawaiian nostalgia, which I love, island-themed drinks, plus a talking parrot. The specialty restaurants on the Navigator are favorites, Chops Grill and Jamie's Italian. I like the design of the Navigator's Azumi and also the view much better than on the Quantum. Hooked is another tasty addition for premium seafood. Before I sailed on the Navigator of the Seas, I really didn't have high expectations for the food or the service. With all the focus on the newest, biggest ships, I assumed that an older, smaller ship might be neglected. I was definitely wrong. The food in the main dining room and the Windjammer was spectacular. As far as the service, after the pandemic, I had accepted that cruise ship service was not going to return to the level it had been in the early to mid 2000s, which is when I cruised the most. Yet the Navigator of the Seas reminded me of the old days of cruising. This ship has a stellar crew. The main dining room worked like a well-oiled machine. This was the fastest, most efficient, and friendliest dining service I've had in years. Our stateroom host was also the most attentive we've had since the pandemic. Royal Caribbean's Navigator of the Seas showed me that I have more options than the newest, biggest mega ships that are not only cost-effective, but also still offer an overall amazing cruise experience. I'm Kristen from the bargainchasingtourist.com. Let me know in the comments if you prefer the mega ships or if you like the older ships like me. And if you like this type of cruise content, make sure to like and subscribe, and I hope to see you at sea.